What is going on YouTube? I go by Suave. I'm out here in the Dominican Republic right now. It's currently the evening, like the sun is just setting. There's a nice beautiful golden haze in the sky. It looks really beautiful, but it's getting kind of dark here. Anyway, I'm down by the river. I'm gonna just post up and make this first YouTube video for my channel. And what I'm going to be talking about today is thinking out loud, which is going to be the niche of this channel. I'm going to have a series of videos just thinking out loud. Each video, the title and thumbnail will have like a different caption saying like what the topic is that I'm going to be talking about. None of this is scripted. This is all off the top of the head. I'm just going to be speaking my mind, connecting with y'all. So if you're tuning into my channel, if you're tuning into my vibration, thank you for tuning in. I got some Zaza from the cousin. You know, we got to be quiet about that. Can't say too much about that. It's not really legal in the Dominican. I don't think I'm gonna have any problems for just twisting up a little gram here and there. But yeah, I'm gonna just set up the camera, post up, and then I'm gonna speak my mind, talk to y'all. Like I said, got some Zaza from the cousin. I'm gonna twist up like a little gram here. And I'm gonna just speak my mind to y'all. So give me a moment to get prepared. So I guess what I want to talk about first is content. As far as content, I started with social media, with Instagram, posting reels, you know, reels with hooks, all that type of shit. Posting different like videos of me performing, like doing little acts and whatnot, you know, trends that a lot of creators just follow and hop on, like things like that. So I started with Instagram, but now I want to do like more long form content. So I'm going to be making long form videos, focusing on YouTube. So as far as content, yeah, my main focus is going to be long form content now. I'm going to be focusing on making YouTube videos because I just want to speak to the camera, connect with y'all, speak my mind. A lot of the things I want to talk about are going to take a lot longer to get off my chest than a lot of the things I would post on Instagram. So from now on, I'm going to be focusing on long form content for YouTube, just clipping it, cutting it down, putting in little clips on Instagram, keep my Instagram going. So if you're seeing this on Instagram, go ahead and click the link in the bio to tune into the YouTube channel. And I'm going to just go post up in the park right now. So thinking out loud, you know, just speaking my mind, just letting my ideas be heard, getting things off my chest, speaking from the bottom of my heart. There's a lot of things I guess I've been wanting to say and wanting to tell people for years, and I haven't really done much of that. Like I've talked a lot to my friends about my philosophies and such. But you know, that's just my friends. And now with my Instagram account, growing my Instagram from 300 followers to 1,000 followers, I now have a platform where I can, you know, make my voice heard. So I want to do the same with YouTube. I want to grow a YouTube channel and let my voice be heard. Just speak my philosophy, speak my ideas, and even tell y'all some stories. I've been through a lot of shit in my life. I've been to prison once. You know, not too long ago, I guess. And, you know, I've been in the streets, I've been around a lot of shit, been through a lot of fights, been through ups and downs, I felt a lot of pain. I got a lot of stories to tell y'all, man. So I'm excited about this journey, you know, my Instagram journey so far. Like I said, 300 followers to 1,000, like 1,100. So I've grown it quite a bit, you know. It's something, it's a start. I got a couple YouTube, or a couple Instagram reels that did millions of views, safe to say, like 3 reels that hit over 1 million views each. So I could have kept going with like what I was doing with the performing and posting trends, but that's not really what I want to do, you know. I want to speak my mind and just let my voice be heard. I want to get my thoughts out there. So again, thank you guys for tuning into the channel. If there's any topics you want to hear, just feel free to drop a comment on this video. Anything you want to hear, I can cover that. I can talk, you know, ask questions, go ahead. I got answers to give y'all if that's what you want to hear. But yeah, thinking aloud, like, is it really that hard to think and to just speak out loud and just speak your mind? I know a lot of people don't do it, but a lot of people, I know I'm not the only one who feels like they want to let their ideas be heard, want to let their philosophies be heard. You know, maybe I can grow this into a podcast at some point. But, you know, I feel like there's a lot of people who kind of get me, who understand me, and then there's like a good majority of people in this world that don't. So some of y'all will be able to tune into my vibration. I feel like other people might not exactly hear me so much, you know. I would like to talk a lot about spirituality. Would I say I'm spiritual? Yes and no, because I don't like using spirituality as an identity. I don't like using it as ego, or like in an ego defining way. I just like what I believe spirituality is like, I believe we're all spiritual beings having a human experience, you know? So that doesn't mean that anybody else is more spiritual than anybody, that I'm more spiritual than you, you know? Even, you know, there's something Jesus said. Let me think for a second. Jesus said, you will do greater miracles than these. You know, he said the kingdom of heaven is within you. He said the Son of Man is within you all. Things like this. Like, is it safe to say that if Jesus were here, would he claim that he's any more spiritual than us? Would he claim spiritual superiority over us? I don't think so. Get okay. So like, it's like, we're all equal spiritually. We're all on that same spiritual level. And now some people don't realize it. Some people, they just don't have that conscious awakening, and they just want to dwell into their human experience. And that's good enough for most people, you know. They just want to be human. That's what we're all here to do. We're all like a fragmentation of God experiencing its creation, you know. So no, I don't believe that I'm any more spiritual than you, that, you know, anybody is more spiritual than anybody else. I think it's just presence, you know. It's like, if you want to tune in and feel that enlightened state, you just got to be present and tune in and be present consciously. But like, some people like the distractions of life. So not everybody tunes in to that present conscious level, that level where they can be conscious like majority of the time and reflect and, you know, just be at peace, be at bliss, be in that state of enlightenment that I know some of y'all tuning in have felt, you know. Where can I go from here? Give me another moment. Like I said, I'm doing this all off the top. I ain't got nothing scripted. I don't plan too much doing this. Like, I just think, okay, thinking out loud. Like, that's the topic of this video. I'm gonna tell y'all and just, you know, speak my mind. And so, yeah, I think that, you know, as far for spirituality, like we're all spiritual, like I said, but you know, it's whether you want to feel that spiritual self within you, you got to kind of tune out of your subconscious mind and stop running on autopilot and just kind of be that awareness behind your thoughts. We could say mind over mind. A lot of y'all know about mind over matter, right? And that's cool, that's one step, but what about mind over mind? Being that awareness behind your thoughts and just observing the thoughts going through your head, observing the thoughts, the thought patterns, you know. So you just gotta speak your mind, and you know, maybe some of you feel the same way, like you want to be heard. So I hope maybe through my journey I can inspire others to also make their own channels and just start posting, and just, you know, maybe there's things you wanted to say to the world or say to your own followers on Instagram. You know, if you're starting out small, starting out with only a couple hundred followers, like, it's really not hard to grow, you know, if you're following those trends and stuff, but you gotta find your niche. You know, for some of you, y'all might like gaming, you know, maybe just, you could even do faceless, like record your gaming clips and, you know, post like podcasts and voiceovers to these things, or just, you know, like there's so many people doing all these different things. Like if you got a dream, just go for it, you know. If you want to post content, go for that. If you want to make music, go for that. If you want to be a sports player, be like play in Major League Baseball, like give that shit your all, you know. Just go in and do it, you know. Start small, start fresh. You got one step ahead of you at a time, and you know, you can't see the end of the road, but what you can do is keep taking one step forward, and the next step is going to reveal yourself, that reveal itself. You don't need to, like, you maybe have a long-term vision of what's at the end of the road, but you know, the journey doesn't happen overnight. You're not going to be able to foretell what happens in the future, because a lot of random things happen, mistakes are made, you know. Sometimes you fall into old habits and revert back to your old self, and you know, when you're trying to make change, when you're trying to grow, when you're trying to evolve, you just got to keep pushing forward, one small step at a time, day by day. And like I said, when you take one step at a time, the next step will reveal itself on the way up, you know. So you sometimes, the road is unclear and there's roadblocks that are going to come. You just got to climb over them, you know. Some steps are harder to get over than others. Sometimes you might trip and fall, you know. There might be a tree root in your path and you're running along, you don't see it, you trip and fall or something. And I'm saying this metaphorically, like sometimes you fall back down and you just got to keep getting up, keep pushing forward no matter how hard shit ever gets. Like, I'm not trying to be all motivational, and that's not what this channel is going to be about. But you know, we all go through ups and downs in life. A lot of people living in survival mode are stuck in duality, stuck in polarity. You know, they think it's only right and left, or like good and bad, or like you gotta choose one option or another. A lot of people don't see how they can transcend polarity, you know. So some people get stuck in negative loops of thinking. Some people have self-doubts and don't believe their own intuition. Some people are very psychic, and again, self-doubt is a big thing that keeps people stuck, keeps people trapped. And you just gotta believe, you just gotta open up your belief system. You gotta believe in yourself. Just believe that you can make things possible, and that, you know, the goal that you have at the end of your journey, you'll get there. You just gotta stay on the path, stay on the course. You know, don't get too lost in, there's a lot of distractions out here, a lot of ways that you can lose yourself. And I've seen myself over the years. That's why I say I got a lot to talk about, I got a lot to tell y'all, because I've seen myself over the years fuck up a lot. You know, I've made a lot of failures in my life, I made a lot of mistakes, but you got to pick it up and learn from it. You know, you can either be sad and be like, oh, I made this mistake, you know, I'm so bummed out about this, like I'm a failure. You can get into a pessimistic loop, but nah, like it's all perspective, and you can flip your perspective. you know? So how do you stay flipping your perspective? If you're going through something negative, you just gotta try to think about the positive, you know? You can't stress over all these little things. You got so much to be grateful for. Think about that. Think about all the things that you have to be grateful for. Like for me, man, I'm grateful that I got family in the Dominican Republic. I can come down here where it's beautiful and hot, and most of the people back home in Canada that I know growing up and shit, and people I know in my personal life, they come here for 1 or 2 weeks with their family for vacation, and they love it, man. But to get to experience living here in a vacation country like this for months on end, I have so much to be grateful for that. Like, you know, I've been down here for over 3 months now, and it's been one humbling experience, man, that I tell you, getting on the resort for 2 weeks and living within the tourist bubble for only 2 weeks, it don't compare to being down here for 3 months, man. It's different when you get to experience the culture. You're outside the tourist bubble, you're in the countryside, you get to hang out with the locals, you get to talk with the people, meet all these cool people that you wouldn't ever get to meet back home. You know, sure, there's multicultural people back home in Canada and a lot of them, and sometimes I feel like those people that come from other countries, of other backgrounds, have like the coolest stories to tell. You know, they got some of the coolest shit to talk about because they've experienced more out of life than the people who've just stayed in the same city their whole life and done the same loop over and over, lived the same cycles, you know, never broke free from it and tried something new, done something else. You know, they got a lot more experience than that, you know, that they've lived life in one world and now they come to another world and adapted to that. And now they live in your city with their, you know, whatever background they're from, you know. There's a lot of multicultural people out there. I think in Toronto, like back home, the city I'm from, I actually live outside Toronto. I can't like claim I live in the city like that, but I spent a lot of time in the city, enough to meet a lot of different people, shake a lot of hands, make some cool friends of different backgrounds, you know. It's all about the people you meet, the people you connect with. Yeah, so, you know, I feel like along this journey, I'm gonna continue to make mistakes. I'm gonna continue to fail at things or mess up with something, but then I can learn from it. I can reflect on it, and I can think, okay, I did this wrong. Now how can I do it better next time, you know? And if I keep messing up, maybe I don't get it perfect, but I just gotta, as long as I can make the next day better than the last day, that's all that matters, you know. And day by day, you know, something becomes a skill set and you get good at it. You know, going to college, going to university, if you're studying something, you know, it might take semesters and years to study what you're studying and become skilled at it. But you know, you got to take it one day at a time, step by step, class by class. You know, eventually you're going to get to the end of it, you know. So that's another analogy I can give for, you know, going after what you're going after in life. Yeah, I think I've talked about enough to talk about within this video. I feel like there is more I could say, but I want to continue to keep things on topic about thinking aloud. And so I feel like I'm probably gonna get up tomorrow, pick a topic of something I want to talk about, and come down to the river during the day where it's nice and quiet, can just self-reflect and let my thoughts out again. Thank y'all for tuning into this video, and I'll see y'all in the next one.